pleased to introduce everyone to Alanna Roesler from Schneider Electric, Head of People Analytics Transformation Manager from beautiful Nashville, Tennessee. Alanna, welcome.
Hi, Cindy. Thanks for having me. It's great to be here, and I'm excited to share my insights on how Schneider Electric has utilized Thoughtspot in the past few months.
I am too. So I have to ask you, Alanna, you're from the country music capital of the world. Are you into country music?
Great question, Cindy. I actually do not prefer to listen to country music. I'm a transplant into Nashville's country music culture, but it is a wonderful city full of music everywhere you go, and that's a really lively place to live, so it's a lot of fun.
Great. Well, I look forward to visiting you when all this is over. But Alanna, many people listening may not know Schneider Electric, even though it's a global brand, huge company. Tell us a little bit about Schneider Electric.
Yeah, great. So Schneider Electric is a global specialist. Like Cindy mentioned, we're represented in over 100 countries across the globe, and really we work on energy management and automation. So our overall purpose and mission as a company is to empower all to make the most of our energy and resources. So I'm also happy to announce that we recently were named 2021's most sustainable company on the Global 100 Index that's done by the Corporate Knights company. So that is a great award for us to win, and it's really measured on a few different areas, including our percentage of clean revenue and investment, our energy and carbon productivity, as well as looking at our diversity metrics as well, including gender diversity in our executives and also including racial diversity. So that's a little bit about Schneider.
That's great. Thanks, Alanna. So green energy, sustainable energy, love it. And as you just mentioned, diversity, you know, a lot of organizations, I said, they don't start with people analytics. And yet this was Schneider Electric's first use case. Can you tell us a little bit more about this?
Yeah, definitely. So Schneider Electric just brought in Thoughtspot with a pilot project in North America that was released this last July. And I had the pleasure of leading this transformation of our HR community to bring data and insights to their decision-making processes. So we brought in Thoughtspot with the ultimate goal of having a tool that is easy to navigate and puts the user experience at the #1 priority, and then fulfilling unique requests. So we are a global company, we are a global HR department, and we have our core BI tools, similar to many of you out there with different dashboards. But what we were missing was that ability to fulfill those search type analytics for all of our HR communities. So this is really bringing in a tool that brings that self-service to all frontline HR people. So all of that work no longer just resides within the analysts, but now we're empowering all. And then our last goal there was to ultimately free up the energy of our HR community. So Cindy, you mentioned it earlier, we are all being challenged with do more with less and creating more efficiencies while also driving more value in our strategic initiatives and our business decisions. And so we brought in Thoughtspot to help do that with our analytics and putting data at the forefront.
Yeah, that's great. And you know, we talk about BI adoption rates. Are you allowed to share, given that you just went live in June, what is your BI adoption rate now with Thoughtspot?
Yeah, so we set out with a very ambitious adoption rate that's really disrupting what our current processes are. So I'm happy to announce that within 6 months of bringing Thoughtspot to our North America community, we were able to reach 78% adoption across our workers, which is it's awesome to see. And if we compare that back to our other most used products at Schneider for our HR community, we're looking at a range from 33 to 48%, depending on the tool. So with Thoughtspot, we've really accelerated that adoption rate, and we are happy to announce that we're expanding globally to be completed by the end of 2021. And our next region in the company will be Europe. So we are quite excited for that scale up.
Yeah, that's awesome, Alanna. 78% adoption rate. So I can tell you from my time at Gartner NBI scorecard, the industry average is barely 33% and tends to the lower scale. So congratulations on that. That's a huge metric for your team, but also for you personally. What's been the impact on your job?
Yeah, so over the past year and a half, I have been a people analytics consultant, which is my role is supporting the head of HR for North America and the wider HR community in that region. And a lot of the work is putting together that data story in terms of our metrics and our important KPIs, and a lot of ad hoc reports. So I think many people out there that are also data analysts can probably relate to that long list of backlog that you have on enhancements or requests. And bringing in Thoughtspot, I dedicated a lot of time to the training and opening up an environment where people can learn. And now for my own role, I've decreased the hours of ad hoc requests by about 25 to 30 hours a week. So that has all transitioned to empowering our HR employees to get those answers to those super valuable questions that they have. And so many of you may be saying, okay, Alanna, you're an analyst. You just reduced your hours by 25 a week. That's crazy. What are you doing instead?
What do you do with all that free time?
All that free time. And so it's not a risk of, the jobs going away, but Cindy, just like what you were talking about with the analyst of the future, it's reallocating that time to putting together that data story and driving the transformation for data-driven decisions across the organization. So that's uniting technology, our analytics, and the human behavior and the processes for making decisions and putting data at that forefront. And I do keep mentioning this confidence and the comfortability of our HR users, because it's a big transformation for them as well.
Yeah, so I understand you got a promotion out of this now as leading the transformation rather than doing the grunt work. Is that right?
You could say that, yes. Yeah, I'm very fortunate that I did get to transition roles. I'm actually still maintaining my consultant role for North America, because the way that my role has shifted, I can still balance that with my new role as change manager. So I'm leading the data-driven culture across HR. And really that comes down to how do we build that case for change, communicate it effectively, and through all of our initiatives in people analytics, drive that adoption and really shift the mindset through building skills and creativity in this space.
Yeah, that's awesome, Alanna. So let's see what people are saying or asking on social media on LinkedIn. So George is asking, what does the adoption entail? And you referred specifically to training, but maybe I don't want people thinking, oh, 8 hours, 2 days of training. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah. So adoption for us here at Schneider really is connecting into that tool and working with our community to get them into the tool came with some training. But what we tried to do is set up the trainings in a way that it's easy to ingest the information. We're not throwing all of it out there at once, but instead we had a few sessions, an hour a piece over a couple weeks, where we covered the high level things. But what we did that's really different from what we've done in the past is we hosted office hours for a few months, every week, 30-minute session where our HR employees could drop in, ask their questions. We could present little 5-minute tidbits of tips and tricks in Thoughtspot as they're using it, and creating this continual dialogue with our end users to boost their creativity, make sure their questions are getting answered. And it's a great place for them to bring their feedback so we can enhance the tool as well.
That's great. So another question from Katina, your 78% adoption rate is great. Do you think it will increase? And if so, how will you get it higher?
Great question. So we are scaling up globally. So that's the next big challenge for us, is how do we support our community on this global scale? And what we have been able to do with our partners at Thoughtspot is we have a pretty detailed adoption pinboard that we track on a regular basis, and we're able to break down our adoption rates by different user personas. So for us, that means frontline HR versus leaders versus analysts. And we can break that down by business unit or function. And then we take tailored actions on that. So let's say one department of our HR employees, maybe they aren't engaging with the tool as much as we would like. Then we take action with their leaders, make sure their leaders are on board, and then host a training that's going to be more applicable to them, to put that at the forefront, get them excited, and really making the content applicable to them. So we've seen success there, and we're going to take that approach moving forward.
Great. So, and then we'll wrap up. So we have Safia commenting, love your journey, Alanna. Amazing to hear how you've created this path for yourself by proving the value of data first. And I have to brag on Alanna a little bit too, because Alanna, also, you really are just getting started in your career, having recently completed your master's. Is that right?
Yes. So it has been a very quick journey with a big learning curve, but a very exciting one, and I'm ready to continue on. But thank you for the nice comment. It's been a great journey, and I can't wait to continue.
Yeah, so on behalf of Thoughtspot, and so Steven's adding, thanks, Alanna, amazing strategy. And I'll also say, Alanna, we just wrote a blog for us, so we'll share that with you. That should be going live today, I believe. Alanna, thank you so much for sharing your story.